Toastie versus Aussie Jaffle. What's the difference? Let's find out. G'day happy campers, Dennis from Caravan Cooking here. What's the difference between a Toastie and a Jaffle? In this video we're looking at how to cook them, what equipment to use, and what the differences are between the two, using a Ridge Monkey and a 45-year-old Jaffle iron. Let me know which one you prefer. Let's get into it. Okay, let's get the cooking fire started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my plasma lighter and we're going to light the fire starters. Now the plasma lighter, you can see it on my left hand there, it's charged by USB and it sends a little electric current, if you like, to start the fire. They're really good also in windy environments. They don't blow out. So just adding some sticks to get the fire started now. I really like this cooker because the pots, the pans and the camp ovens and all that sort of stuff sit nicely on that flat surface. So we're using this Frontier cooker here, and which I bought many years ago. They didn't have them in Australia then. I actually imported it from overseas, but since then there's other ones on the market, and I'm using half of the Ridge Monkey toastie maker. It's very useful because you can open it up and use it for as a fry pan as well. So I've just got one little meat patty, which is really a meatball. We're just going to quickly cook that on here before we get into making the Jaffle proper. This is quite hot, so I think it'll cook quite quickly. You don't need to cook it all the way through, but we'll certainly cook most of it, and we'll add some cooked onion there as well. You can't have a hamburger without onion, in my opinion. Okay, you can't have a Jaffle without bread, of course, and the best bread to have is this boring old white square loaf. I have tried it with other bread that have the round top and it just doesn't work as well. So the first thing always with a Jaffle is to butter the outside of the bread. So let's do that first. Whoops. Let's butter the outside of the bread first. And then we open the Jaffle iron up and the butter goes on the outside. So we're going to put that down into the Jaffle iron like that and press it down. Like so. I'm going to butter the outside of this bread. Put the butter away for the time being. Then we're going to get the meat patty and everything off the fire. Meat patty and the onion. put the onion down first. Drizzle that onion on. Then we'll get our massive meat patty. You don't want to have it too big or else it won't close inside the jaffle itself. We'll get rid of that. Next thing we'll do is we'll put our slice of cheese on because we want that to melt. It's so hot today it's probably going to melt anyway. So we're going to push that down over the top there. The next thing we'll have is some tomato. A little bit of salt and pepper. A shot of BBQ sauce. I have BBQ sauce on burgers, but for meat pies I have just plain tomato sauce. I'll wait till that car goes. And then of course we've got the secret Aussie ingredient to a hamburger, beetroot. You have to have beetroot to make it an Aussie hamburger. There's our beetroot. Now remember, the butter side has to go on the outside of the jaffle because it's got to go on that, and also just do it a little bit off center towards the back, because as you close it up it's going to, if I can show you, as you close it up it's going to force the bit of bread a little bit this way, and really what we want to do a little bit further is it needs to close down on the outside of the edge of the jaffle, and it will seal it, so it's not like a toastie, it's not open, it'll be completely sealed all the way around. So we'll go now and we'll put it on the fire. So the jaffle iron's laid flat on top of that front of your cooker there. We'll flip it over a couple of times as it cooks, and we'll also trim off that excess crust around the outside. So we'll flip it over, and we'll keep an eye on how brown it is. So there we have it all trimmed off there, and we'll open it up every so often to see that it's toasted. Okay, let's get started on the toastie now. These are this is a Ridge Monkey extra large toastie maker, if you like. A good thing about the Ridge Monkey is you can actually separate it and use it as two little pans if you want, but it makes it a little bit easier. I've put some oil in there and we'll give that a good spread around. We don't want the bread sticking to the Ridge Monkey platen. These are readily available in the UK, I know. Not so readily available in Australia. You have to hunt around a little bit for them. Actually, in fact, I'd never seen them before I went into a Drifter store, and they had them in there. The handles come off for storage as well, and they have a little neoprene pouch that they go in, so it's very, very neat. Okay, this is Turkish bread. I've been to Turkey and I don't remember eating Turkish bread actually in Turkey, but it's certainly very popular in Australia. It's very versatile. So then they don't stand very tall. They're not very high. So you've got to be really careful when you cut them up. It's sort of got to be yeah. You can see there how the bottom there is the same height all the way through. Now I know I've put oil on the pan there, but I'm going to put some butter on the top as well and the bottom. It just will make it nice and brown and crispy. Australia have got an interesting relationship with Turkey. We were actually enemies in World War One, and the Anzacs. The Aussies and Kiwis know all about the Anzacs. The Anzacs fought at Gallipoli, but I've been to Turkey, and we have a great relationship with the Turkish people. Of course, you can use any bread you like on a toastie and the Rouge Monkey, but I just find that I just really enjoy the Turkish bread. Okay, we're going to slather on some sun-dried tomato pesto. That'll give it a really good flavour. That'll soak into the bread a little bit as well, which will be nice. And we'll top that with some leg ham. I find those little packages, look, I know they're not environmentally friendly, but I just find them convenient because in most cases you can get a couple of serves out of it. And it's easier to store as well, especially if you're camping. So rather than taking a big package that you'll get from the deli, just a package like this stores easily in your camp fridge. Cutting up some tomatoes. These are Scan Pan Spectrum knives. I find them excellent. They're very, very sharp, and I love them. It's really slicing through that tomato easily. You know how difficult it can be to slice tomato. I actually had a set somewhere in the caravan. I couldn't find them. I ended up buying another set. And then, of course, my wife had a mother look and she found the original set, so now we've got two. But that's okay. They're great knives. tomato, of course, in a Jaffle can turn into molten lava. It's so hot. Not so much in a toastie, but certainly in a Jaffle, it just becomes so hot. You take a bite into the Jaffle, as soon as you've taken it off the heat, and you drip tomato down your chin, and you'll know about it. That's for sure. So we're using red onion this time. We're not cooking it. We don't need to cook red onion. It's lovely and sweet, and it certainly goes well on a salad. But I like it on a toastie like this as well. And as far as cheese go, I don't use the boring old cheddar. We've got some lovely Swiss cheese here, which will give it that little nutty flavour of the Swiss cheese will really add to the flavours on this toastie. We'll whack the lid on and we'll close the ridge monkey up. Now, you can see it's got two little pins that join the top to the bottom, and I have had so many problems trying to get this on. I do a rush job, but you can see I'm having real problems here. And actually during this video, I'll be honest, I forced it closed and those two little pins broke. But the ridge monkey still seems to work okay. The lid just sits on the bottom and it's held down by a magnet in the handle, and it seems to work okay. You might think that I have too much filling in this toastie, but as it cooks, it sort of compresses down a bit. And we'll rack that on the Frontier cooker as well. Now, we've taken the Jaffle off the cooker. You can see how toasted it is. It's really really nice and toasty, and it forms almost like a little pie. And it's sealed all the way around the outside. Those little pesky flies are hanging around. They want to feed. I don't usually cut a Jaffle in half to eat it, but I've just did it so you could see what it's like inside once it's cooked. The cheese is melted so much you can hardly see it. Now here's the toastie, and that's come out of the ridge monkey. Certainly a much bigger meal, and this is something normally I would share with somebody else. But the big difference, as you can see, between the Jaffle and the toastie is the Jaffle's sealed all the way around like a pie, and the toastie is like a big toasted sandwich, really. So it's not sealed around the edges. But you can see how crunchy that Turkish bread is. Nice and crispy. Again, I've cut that in half. It's not the prettiest sandwich in the world, but it certainly is tasty. Look, I've had a choice between a Jaffle and a toastie. Probably the toastie, if I had the time to make it, would be nicer, and also you can share it with somebody else, where the Jaffle is, maybe if I'm camping by myself, I might just use a Jaffle by itself there. The thanks for watching. If you like me, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. This is Dennis from Caravan Cooking. Thanks for watching. Hooroo.